Groaners! Specials coming up in future, as well as Admin Nicole baffling my ability to speak English when the word is longer than an elephant's trunk. Can you feel the fear and nervous joy in my voice, Groaners? But that is my problem, oh dear Groan Lord help me, for another week. Back to the present with episode 128, and aside from a random section of content, we also have the following as your games. Your games are Yes or BS, the 5-point countdown, Talking Nonsense, and Who the Hell Am I? Your audience groan this week comes in from Annika of Finland and England via email. Speaking of groans, the dank groan light shines on me, so I now must speak. My groans. Idiots who don't pay attention. So got on the train, person sat in our booked seats. Waving, saying excuse me, nothing. The dozy Generation Z pillock had her headphones in, looking at her phone. You obviously were in paid for seats. Plus 2 of her bimbo friends hadn't paid for the tickets anyway. Obviously as dense as clotted cream ice cream. People who don't pay attention to times. So I was on the very same train, this lankier version of Jean-Claude Van Damme was moaning to his girlfriend about checkout times. Apparently the checkout time was 12 and they were not ready and out by 12. Checkout means you were out before that time, not, oh, I'll just bumble about in my hotel room like a stuck winnet. I hope they double charged you. Not taking vouchers on Mother's Day. Now you'd think this would be a late groan for Mother's Day, but it's not. It's in retrospect. I will never understand this. I get money off from my local pub, because of a certain card I've got, but because it was Mother's Day last week, I could not use my voucher. Why not? You are still getting money out of my pocket. Honestly, it's bloomin' stupid. I took my mum out earlier in the week before, well, on Mother's Day week, and they could see I was on my own. They should ask if a mother is with a customer, but as stated in previous episode, it shouldn't matter. Now then, I've grown my piece, and as they slither away into the dark recesses for another week, we now spin it around as the nonsense takes over with our first game. Talking Nonsense. We could not survive without this. Your nonsense is... Pause here, have a little think, Groaners, answer, and then unpause. Round B. Sometimes you do this in some churches. Your nonsense is... Pause here, Groaners, have a little think, answer, then unpause. Last round, round C. It bores most of the planet. Your nonsense is... Pause here, Groaners. Have a little think. Answer, then unpause. The nonsense will be spoken in English and the answers later. For now, we venture into the darker reaches of the podcast with... well, that's creepy. The antenna mystery. In early 2023, the authorities in Utah reported finding antenna arrays in Salt Lake City on tops of ridges and mountains. Officials at the time said this has been occurring for more than a year. However, in late 2022, they found increasing numbers of them popping up. One array was found at 7,000 feet. Apart from the annoyance of having to hike up to remove these antennas, officials were clueless as to who kept installing them. There have been all sorts of theories about these antennas. Some believe they are part of an amateur group doing radio emergency data networking, others reckon they are for tracking wildlife. The problem is there have been no permits issued, so these theories hold no water currently. 2 years on, the strange mystery still remains. There are no updates currently on the strange situation. Whatever the case is, it is most certainly worthy of being creepy. From creepy now, we flip the coin to the other side for unlucky with, oh, unlucky! Naming a baby is a big thing, so imagine a father's dismay when he found out last month that his partner wants to call their twins, that's a girl and a boy, the same name. He laughed at first, but she's serious and now won't talk to him. 7 months pregnant and 2 months to go. Matey, you are on borrowed time to change her mind, or your twins and yourself are gonna be so very unlucky. Talking of luck, you'll need it once again for our second game. Yes or BS? The Groaners live, they're ready and they're waiting. Here we go. But before I do, it's back to normal this time, not like last week. You're avoiding the answers which you believe are BS. Just tell me you'll pick each round which statement you believe is true. Beware, BS means your points are wiped in this game only, and more on that when we give you the game answers. Round 1, the Crush Q State round. A. Alaska is the only US state whose name is typed using one row of the keyboard. B. Crushed almonds are used as part of dynamite. C. The letter Q doesn't appear in the spelling of any American state. Groaners live, answers please. Those at home, press pause, have a little think, answer then unpause. We've got an array of A's coming in there. We've got C's flying in there. More A's, a B, another C. Okay, Groaners live, is that it? Another B and another B. Okay, I got you. Round 2, the Square Spaghetti Research Round. A. A strand of spaghetti is called spaghetto. B. An octothorpe is the name for a marine specialist into the research of octopuses. Or C. Goats have square pupils. Same as the previous round, Groaners live, you know what to do. Groaner at home, you know what to do. We've got B's flying in there, A's flying in there, oh, and C's flying in there. We've got a spread there, Groaners. Okay, any more? A couple more C's, a couple of A's, and B and B and B. Okay, that's it there. Round 3, the Blonde Cambridge Conspiracy Round. A. Elvis was actually blonde. B. A conspiracy is a name given to a group of lemurs. Or C. The oldest university in the world is in Cambridge, England. Go Groaners live, as before you know what to do. Groan home, you know the drill. We have C's flying in there, more C's flying in there, an A flying in there, and a B, oh, and another A. Gotcha, Groaners live, okay. The answers will be found later on, Groaners, but back with Creepy again in this episode. For another time, but with somebody else. It's Admin Nicole's turn with Admin Nicole's Creepy Corner. Your story for this week is called The Sister's Gift. Ivy had woken at last. The old man chose to stay with her for the meantime, partly out of responsibility, partly to try and find out if she knew anything about his wife. Meanwhile, Viola had decided to go with Valencia to ask Death about the bone she needed. Viola had no idea what was going on, but she would agree to go regardless. She'd also be the one to charge into the room at the absolute worst timing to hear Damien tell Death he didn't want to get married. Valencia looked confused as she heard the news, but Damien was quick to tell her it wasn't what it sounded like. His issue was more with becoming Death than getting married. He believed it would mean becoming a skeleton forever, which is something that greatly worried him. Death clicked its bones and in an instant it grew flesh, hair, even clothes. It would seem like Vega, Death also had the ability to change its forms at will. Death's clothes were like something out of fantasy, much like Vega, except very much in contrast. Vega, whose clothes would mirror the calm, serenity of the moon, was in stark contrast to Death, whose clothes would mirror the fiery depths of the afterlife. Death explained that, like Vega, its preferred appearance was merely a choice. It wasn't some kind of curse that you get from becoming Death. That's when Valencia realised just how similar the two are. Both have very normal appearing forms, yet chose to be in the form that can evoke the most chaos. Neither are evil, they're just both chaotic, and that's just fine. Damien breathed a sigh of relief to know that he wasn't going to spend the rest of his eternal afterlife as a pile of bones. He seemed to be a worry that held quite a high burden on him. He reassured Valencia that the marriage itself was never a worry to him, and rather one he was greatly looking forward to. Valencia smiled, feeling that same unknown warmth she sometimes felt when she was around him. She then remembered to ask Death for some bones. Death, feeling upset that she knew the true name of the darkness, decided he wouldn't be left out, so he asked her to start calling him Grim. Only the most worthy were ever allowed to call him that, after all. As for the bones, he gave her what she needed and told her that it would all be safe. The dead still have rules to follow, but what she had planned wouldn't affect any of it, so she wouldn't have any issues there. He also warned them that after the wedding there was something they needed to know. This was especially true for Viola, but he didn't want to ruin the wedding with things that could wait. They had waited this long after all. Viola followed Valencia into the room full of potions and vials. She was to grind up the bones as she added it into a pot filled with all manner of things. The final thing she needed was to instill her own essence into it. Then she simply poured it all into a bottle and handed it to Viola. She asked her to drink it. Something important to her that she had been working on for some time now. She couldn't test it out, but she had truly hoped it would work. Viola was unsure of the questionable nature of the potion, not to mention the smell coming off it, but she knew it was important, so she held her nose and drank the whole thing in one go, trying very hard not to throw up. In mere moments, she felt a sense of something coming over her, something invisible, but it brought her enough pain that she would collapse to her knees. Valencia began to worry that she made a mistake with one of the ingredients, but then all the lights went out. It was pitch black in the room. Valencia tried to use the constellations on her body to light the room just enough that she could work out getting the lights back on. Once she did, however, Viola was gone. For a brief moment she panicked, then she heard a scream from the corner of the room. It was Viola, but different. The potion actually worked. Valencia had been picking up random ingredients from all over their travels, researching as much as she could, and now as she looked at Viola, she couldn't help but smile. It actually worked. Viola was older now, no longer stuck in the body of a child. Her body was finally older. She stood there in front of a mirror, crying over something she never thought she would have. She didn't know how, or even why, but she didn't care. Viola was now truly able to leave her past behind her. I can never thank you enough for this. I truly thought I would be stuck as a 10-year-old forever. Now my body is finally older, my wings have evolved to match, I even have boobs now. I never thought that would happen. My crown too, even that has changed. And for this very brief moment, I will overlook the fact that it's still so crooked, and I still can't change that, and let pretend it's not going to frustrate me forever. No one else would have gone out their way to do this for me. In my mind, I haven't been a child for so long now, I keep aging and getting older, but was only ever on the inside. I couldn't change the way my body looked. Thanks to you, I won't ever have to worry about that again, Viola said, smiling. The sisters embraced once more. Valencia had been happier than ever that this had all worked. She knew Viola may never age again, none of them ever will anymore, yet she knew how much Viola needed this. She always pretended to be accepting of it, how she was, but Valencia knew deep inside she resented it. She was always looked down on or treated like a child because of her appearance. Even if she can never truly age again, Valencia knew she had to do this for her. She was only sorry it took her this long to figure it out. Yet now the wedding was only days away. Was she truly ready for it? Not to mention whatever dangers might come for them next. As excited as she was, she kept getting an unavoidable feeling that something was going to return very soon, maybe even at the wedding itself. Well, Nicole, you shocked me there with a couple of words in there. Caught me off guard. Will it all work out for Valencia, Groaners? What will Nicole hit us with next? More Creepy Corner next week. Now that age-old question rises again, with why oh why? A lot of us out there work, your host included. No, this isn't my job, I wish it was, as I love it, but no, I love my non-podcast job. What I don't get is the broken disability system here in the UK. Those who have disabilities or mental issues seem to get shafted with our broken, outdated systems. However, a perfectly fit person can fake it and get all the benefits that they really shouldn't have access to. The broken PIP system in the UK and discrimination against disabilities, etc. I just have to ask, why oh why? Props to Annika for the inspiration. You'll hear her groan soon, Groaners. Another game now, in the form of the 5-point countdown. Not the 5-point count-up like last week, we're back on normal programming. Starting at 5 points. Clue 5. I can have many fillings and am made of flour. Go Groaners live, guesses please. Groaner at home, shout your answer out. After you've paused, then answer unpause. Someone's put pie? That is a really good guess. Really good guess. It's not what I'm looking for. Moving on. Clue number 4. You don't always need to butter me. Someone's put toast. Okay. By the way, do hold your guesses in Groaners live. Groaner at home, pause, have a think, answer unpause. We've had pie, toast. Any more groaners? Stumped again, I think. Moving on. Clue number 3. For 3 points. I am a smash hit with bacon or sausages in. It's a specific word I'm looking for, groaners, so think before you answer. Groaners live, give me those answers. Groaner at home, same as the previous couple of rounds there. Well, previous clues, I should say. Come on. Come on, Groaners live, you can do this. No. Okay, moving on. Clue 2 for 2 points. You can toast me. Someone's put scone, or scone, as some people say. Think about what you've just said, Groaner. You don't really put bacon and sausage in a scone or scone, do you, really? Okay, I'm going to have to move on in a second, Groaners. That includes those live and at home. Moving on. Last one. Clue 1 for 1 point. I'm another name for something women have. Someone's put buns. Okay. I like your thinking there, Groaner. I like your thinking there. Baps. Yep, I've just seen it. Someone's put baps. Groaner, you get 1 point there. Okay. 1 point. And I've just told you what the answer is anyway, but I'll tell you the answer again when the answers come up later. Now then, I mentioned Annika before. She gets her groan read out with the audience groan. Hi, I live between England and Finland a year on and a year off. Job centres in England and similar companies that work with them are supposed to help people find work. This might be simple enough for those that simply need to find work, however, it is a very different story for those who are disabled or have health problems. Far too often are they constantly told to explain how their health impacts their ability to work, or even offer jobs that couldn't possibly be any worse for their health, even if they tried to. Or we've been told that because their health is invisible, it means it has to be fake and they're making it up. People with health problems have gone far too long being mistreated in this way simply because there is nothing they can do about it. Nothing they can do about what they have to suffer with. They did not choose to have the issues that they have, and instead of getting the rightful support they need to find work that is suitable for their needs, they're treated as liars and outcasts, often pushed into any old job just to fill a quota. It should not be classed as wrong to put your own needs first, especially when it comes to your health. People should be paid to support all people into the work, not just the ones that are an easy case and have none or minimal issues. This discrimination needs to stop, and more respect needs to be held for health problems. Annika, that is a fantastic groan, and you inspired me for one of my groans, for why oh why earlier in the show. If you want to send a groan in, groaners, you want to send in a Hero Zero Week nomination, got some ideas for the show, or anything else regarding the show, you can do so on any one of the following. You can drop an email in to thegroanzonepod@gmail.com. You can hit up myself on Facebook Messenger under Mr. E. Groaner. You can do the same thing for Admin Nicole and Nicole Amos. You can join in the Discord live, usually 8:30 Friday. We record and then it gets published to be released on a Saturday or a Sunday, sometimes on a Friday night. If we're lucky, it'll get sent out. You can also find us on YouTube. It's the same thing, the Groan Zone podcast. You can find us in the comment section there. Put a comment on Podbean. And if it's a reasonable comment, we'll take your content into the show. Don't know when, but it will be included. Nearing the end of the show, groaners, that can only mean one thing. We name our hero or zero of the week. Oh, and I forgot one more thing. You can, of course, find us on the Facebook group, the Groan Zone Podcast Facebook group. Sorry about that, groaners. And now for our zero of the week. A Japanese soup restaurant by the name of Tsukaya has had to apologise after a rat was found in its soup. Fair play, you say, they've apologised. Unfortunately, it took them 2 months to own up to this, from January to March. What about all the other diners that have been in since the incident? They have around 2,000 branches in Japan. Come on, people. You see the leading gyudon, that's Gyudon, and that's a dish of thinly sliced beef and onions cooked in a sweet and savoury sauce, served on rice. Chain of restaurants. All I see is a bunch of zeros for letting this happen in the first place. Yuck! Oh, I couldn't imagine that. I'd be livid if I found something floating in my soup or food that shouldn't be there. Ugh. Now lastly, we have our final game of the episode, which is Who the Hell Am I? Your clue is, I used to be the partner of Kurt Russell and I was popular in the 80s to 90s. The picture will appear on Discord Facebook, and Podbean. That's the only places it shows up, Groaners. Nowhere else. The answer will come next week, but speaking of answers, here we are to see the point situation with the game answers. Starting from last week with Admin Nicole's anagram anxiety. Your answer was PG tips and boodles. I'll explain that now. Well, some mothers wouldn't mind a cup of tea on Mother's Day. Back in 2005, PG Tips collaborated with Boodle's jewellery chain for their 75th anniversary. Together they would make a single tea bag covered in 280 diamonds. Of course, this tea bag was still PG Tips and could be used to make a rather expensive cup of tea. 100 2.56 carat diamonds embellish its sides. Another 100 on the inside and 80 diamonds decorate the bag's white gold string. The single tea bag alone was worth £7,500. It was created to be used in a prize draw to raise money for the Royal Manchester Children's Hospital. You see, I thought the anagram was daffodils and it really wasn't. Thanks, Nicole. The 5-point countdown. Of course, I gave the answer earlier. That was BAPS. Sorry, Groaners, but YouTube gave me inspiration for this. Or was it shame? One of the two. Yes or BS? Round 1, the Rush Q Skate Round. A. Alaska is the only US state whose name is typed using one row of the keyboard. This is true. Go on, give it a try, Groaners. B. Crushed almonds are used as part of dynamite. False, but peanuts are. Peanuts used to make dynamite. Their oil is extracted to make the compound nitroglycerin. C. The letter Q doesn't appear in the spelling of any American state. This is true. So if you got blanked at any point during that round, Groaners, you have no points. Round 2. The Square Spaghetti Research Round. A. A strand of spaghetti is called a spaghetto. You wouldn't think it, but this is actually true. B. An octothorpe is the name for a marine specialist into the research of octopuses. This is false, it's BS. It's actually the given name for the hashtag symbol. C. Goats have square pupils. This is BS. Their pupils are rectangular. So, if you were blank there and you had a point in the previous round, you've got no points now. Last round, the redemption round. Round 3. The Blonde Cambridge Conspiracy Round. A. Elvis was actually blonde. This is true. He dyed his hair with shoe polish. B. A conspiracy is a name given to a group of lemurs. Again, this is also true. And C. The oldest university in the world is in Cambridge, England. This is false. It's actually the University of Bologna, located in Italy. It's the oldest university in the world. It was founded in 1088 AD. If you were blanked at any point in the game, sorry Groaners, but that's how Yes or BS works. Finally, we make sense of talking nonsense. Round A. Your nonsense was oxygen. Round B. Your nonsense was confessions. And round C. Your nonsense was politics. On that note, Groaners, we hope you scored some points, but if not, there was always more chances next week when we return to Groan again. Take care, Groaners. Bye bye. I used to be a part. I can't do this one.